So now let's move on to neural matching. Neural matching is a very exciting AI that Google definitely uses. You can see I have it listed here, doing query rewriting and ranking. It's an artificial intelligence that we know that Google uses from Underground SE University. Also, Google has admitted they use it here in their own document, Guide to Google Search Ranking Systems, that they published some months ago. You see that neural matching is a system that they use here, that they fully admit. So we're not making this up. They definitely use it, and it's very important in ranking, but no other tool lets you test it. So here's how we test it. We actually do neural networking and neural matching analysis on these keywords, and we start ranking them in tiers. Tier 1 is the best, Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4. We're picking out the metonyms. Now, what is a metonym? Well, a metonym, and I'll do a definition here for you. Metonymy is a figure of speech consisting the use of a name of one thing for that of another. So it's like a synonym, but it's a bit broader. So such as crown in lands belonging to the crown, or such as Washington as a metonym for the US government. That's what a metonym is. It's a bit of a broader replacement. So Tier 1 is the highest scored neural matching entities that you should be using. And it's usually the PMQs plus a few more. You can often find very interesting synonyms and metonyms that are just as powerful as the EMQ words. So that's interesting. So remember, we were trying to generate here AI keywords that, these are all going to be from BERT, it's going to be from RankBrain, it's going to be from neural matching, it's going to be from the helpful content, vision AI, and of course, I forgot the product content as well. And the knowledge graph as well are going to be very important there. So that's the AIs that we are, in a nutshell, there's more AIs that we're analyzing, but those are the ones that are going to give you secret keywords that you're going to be wanting using. So we're looking at the neural matching keywords right now to use these AI keywords in various spots and keywords. I should have done it that way, actually. And so you know where you can use what words and how much you can use them. The neural matching words are very powerful. The Tier 1 words here are very powerful. They almost always include the EMQ, the exact match query, and the partial match query, which is the various words of the EMQ. They're always single words as well for neural matching. And Tier 2 is synonyms or metonyms of the Tier 1. So for example, on advertise, we get advertisement, ads, advertising, or advertisements, or advertised, or publicize as well, which you may never have thought. Interestingly, on advertise, ad is a Tier 3. You'd think that was more of a synonym and you might use it in your words more, but this actually is a better representation of the neural networking, of the matching, the grammatical matching of all those words. Then we get advertisers, publicize, promote, and now promote is a Tier 4, and then even in a Tier 5, even deeper, promoted, promoting, promotion, which is even more removed from advertise, right, for example. And if you want to show all the levels, we can go down to a number of tiers. Then offers off of promotions, paid off of promotion, and offer off of promotions. So you would never expect offer or paid to come off of these as synonyms, because they're not synonyms, but they are neural networked metonyms. And so no other tool gives you this tier view. In the future, like I said, this is early days. In the future, I want to have a tree so you know that, okay, how, and then you know the synonyms of how, the metonyms that break off of how, and then the metonyms that break off the metonyms of how, and the metonyms of metonyms. And I want to do this tree structure later on graphically, but it would take time to program to do that. Right now, we just have it listed in tiers like this. And these tiers are what gets scored in the final results. 10 is Tier 1 and Tier 2. 9 is Tier 3. 8 is Tier 4, and so on. And so you can see all these AIs are scoring your pages and have their own say as to how they should be scored, including helpful content and product content, which I've covered here, but are not covered in the results of the tool. They're covered in AI Spy. That's where you find the helpful content and the product review AI stuff there. So this is another pro tip of how you know the system has done its testing, and to get a sense of, okay, interesting, what words are more important for what AI. This is the RankBrain test of the phrases. This is the neural matching test and a RankBrain test of the top neural networked words and the top entity relationships between them. And this is correlating to neural matching, the tiers. Tier 1 and 2, I said, is 10 points because they're the most powerful. And then tier 2 is 9 points. You remember add showed up there, tier 9. It doesn't score as highly and not used as much in the BERT test here. So it gets a lower score here because it's not used as much in those tests. It doesn't show up as much, but it is used quite a lot here. So you get the total score, and it's the total score you want to go on. And this is our, I want to say patent pending. It's our patent, although we haven't filed the patent yet, but it is our patent pending. It is our secret sauce. It is our really special way of scoring these so that each AI that gets a cumulative score boosts you up. So that's how the results tab works. And that's how you know that you've done the neural matching testing and you've got the points in here from the various tiers as they show up. That's how you know you're getting the BERT words as we've tested them and the rank brain words as we've tested them as well. And it's a little hard to separate these things out perfectly. And so there's kind of a blended test here with neural matching, rank brain, neural matching, rank brain. This is amalgamated them together. And this is neural matching and rank brain final test where we separate them out and do a lot more processing. That's why it takes a longer time. And as you recall, these phrases here are the BERT entities and the helpful content entities and the product entities. Basically, any AI that is a transformer, product review is a transformer, helpful content is a transformer. We know this from testing it in underground SU University, and BERT is a transformer. They've admitted BERT's a transformer. They admit that right here when they talk about BERT. They say, yeah, it's our transformer. They've admitted that. We know that for a fact. But we happen to know that helpful content and product review is a transformer because it has to be, right? There's no other AI that exists that would do this as well. So this is what's important there for also entity vectoring as well in determining the consensus of experts. If you've watched my other videos, you know what I'm talking about there. It's the new link. It's entity vectoring and the consensus of experts. These keywords here will help us with the consensus of experts. These entities here will help us with all their transformers as we have reverse engineered them and reapply them and process them in a way much more honest and analogous to the way Google is using it. Not a guess and not just using ChatGPT because it's hot. We use ChatGPT to generate things, but when it's analogous to what Google is doing to give you a much better keywords. So you definitely want to make sure that you're using your tier 1 words the most, your tier 2 words the most. And you're like, Josh, the tier 1 words are just the EMQ. My answer is no. On many EMQs, when you test it, you'll notice that there's other words that float in there that are very important. So you definitely want to pay close attention to what words float in here and use them if they float in here. For example, in the CBD oil for my cat keyword that I started off with, remember I started off with CBD oil for my cat, and I used the China SERP. If I go to the report and we click on neural matching, you can see here CBD oil for my cat is indeed there, but also tier 1 synonyms or metonyms that are very powerful also includes the word or the initialism THC. So any of you people out there in the CBD niches or the marijuana niches, you know that CBD and THC are very highly related to each other, but they are not synonyms. And because people are looking for CBD oil for my cat, you might think, oh, I should never mention THC or I would never mention THC because they're looking for CBD, which is a different thing. THC and CBD are two different primary chemical ingredients in marijuana, and you use one for one purpose and you use one for the other purpose. If they're looking for CBD oil for my cat, they're not looking for THC, or they might want to know that it doesn't have any THC content infecting the CBD oil, because that's very important for this kind of medicine, right? So you might find it very interesting to know that that's not what neural matching thinks. Neural matching is not synonyms. It is metonyms as construed by the AI. And the only way for you to know it is to test it the way Google tests it. And so our testing shows that THC, our neural network that's based on Google, shows in our testing that tests exactly what Google is doing, shows that THC is also an equally important keyword to use here and would have 10 more points in the results and give you a much better results and a much better keyword, an entity to be using and mentioning in your page that will make your page scored that much higher for CBD oil for my cat. It's important to mention THC. And then tier 2 also has oils. Now petroleum is another interesting thing that you would never use because oil is a synonym of oil. Petroleum is a synonym of oil, but you would never use it typically, and you might want to consider not using it because it's not really on the topic. But if you put it in your page, it's going to have a huge neural network boost from neural matching. It's going to take you off the topic for BERT and for RankBrain possibly. So, you have to consider whether you want to use it or not. Some keywords that are good for one AI might not be great for other ones. So that's why we score them all together, so you get the completed score. So you're using only the best words that are good for all of the AIs involved, the on-page AIs involved, including helpful content and product review. But it's interesting to notice that from straight neural networking using grammatical relationships of subject-predicate relations in strings of text, petroleum is a tier 2 metonym or synonym of one of these words, and I know for a fact it's going to be oil. So you might be like, oh, interesting. And Google doesn't know. Each AI is a dumb intelligence. You put them all together, and that is the artificial intelligence. Amazingly, saying the word petroleum might actually help you on your page. And then you have other ones like your, cat's, kitty, his, their, the, their, it's, her. So you get all these other words. Here's another interesting thing to look at. This there, the, their, it's, her are all words that would be considered stop words by other tools, and they would strip them out and you wouldn't know to use them. But here, through the neural networking and the magic of neural matching and neural networking, we know that these words are matched to the words that you want to rank for. So these words will give you a step up and give you a boost, and they would have a boost in our final score results system. So that's very interesting, and that's the way that neural matching works. And you can port those words over into your content editor, and you can start working on them and adding them to get the best optimized score that the content editor will help you get. And you can get those total results in results, not only for the transformer entities, but for the RankBrain and neural matching single word entities, that whether or not they got good scores in neural matching or not so much in RankBrain or BERT or different AIs, it's all tallied up and added together to give you the best words to be using from top to bottom. And remember, as I showed you, you can always boost up words that seem to do really, really well when you do your deep dive in RankBrain and see the jumps between T100, the top 100 to the top 10, and see interesting jumps there and go, why did that word jump up so much? It could be that it had a huge boost behind it. You can pump up those words and get extra leverage here. In the future, I hope to make it a discretionary point system where you can give it 2 extra points, you can give it 5 extra points. You can be like, hell, I want to give it 19 extra points. I want to make sure it's always the top of this list and we're always using it for whatever reason, because it's important to your client, it's important to you for your sales, it's the angle you want to go with. Or you saw in RankBrain that, it's like, look, it had a big, huge jump up here, like some of these words, like this word here, step, had a huge jump up in the RankBrain testing. So that's why when it came to the results, you're like, okay, I'm going to go to results, and I'm going to find the word step here and see where they rated. Okay, they give it 5 points because it turned up well on one of the tests. But or here's step. That I downvoted because I didn't want to use it. I downvoted it because it kept coming up. But normally in C9, it would have been right up here if I hadn't already downvoted it when I worked on this previously.